Hello everyone, back for another relatively boring car maintenance video. I will get to projects again someday, but yeah, like I said last time, I'm just kind of reeling from the incredibly awful weather we had this entire summer. Just 95 degrees seemingly every single day, and no break in sight from the humidity. Everything sort of is away for the season. The only reason the Murcielago is where it is right now, I took it out just to wash it and then get ready for a friend of mine who wants to take some photos involving the car. I actually took it for, I don't know, a 20-mile drive today just to make sure all the fluids were nice and warm. This thing drives notably nicer after that service, so I'm a huge fan of I think I put Redline MTL in the transmission. It's like buttery smooth. Quite nice. 1600, like I said last time, man. This thing is just fighting. So we got a dud MS3. I'm not sure if I'm going to use, I've got this old, I don't know, I bought it on eBay 10 years ago. Apparently it's a counterfeit, Mega Squirt 2. I had no idea, but it does work. So contemplating trying to just wire that thing in to see if I can get this thing to run with the M10. I have talked to Classic Daily. He assures me that the K-Series is next. So if that's actually true, that'll be fantastic. I do really want to get that K24 A3 in the E10 as soon as possible. This project right here, man, I was all raring to go. The dude in Ohio that had everything mapped, even had a 3D printed proof of concept pan ready to go, completely ghosted me. So I have no idea what's going on there. I am halfway tempted. I have a laser scanner, so I could rip out the S52, push this thing into the engine bay, take a scan, and sort of work it into CAD that way. I know what I'm doing. I have a machine shop at work. I could make that happen. But the car runs and drives. It's really hard mentally for me to take a car off the road that runs and drives. Mercedes, this will feature some content on the channel this fall yet. The electric fan and the driving lights don't work. So I'm guessing we've got a ground issue, especially considering I was in here messing with all the pedals and everything with the manual swap. Not terribly surprising if that's the case. And then today we've got I think it's an F25 X3. This is an N52 X3. And yeah, I know it's auto, it's all-wheel drive, and I'm working on it, but I'm not doing anything relating to any of that. It's in for a water pump. It's got actually, I think it's just over 100,000 miles on it. It's never been done. Thrust arms are pretty bad, needs rear brakes. And I have actually serviced the transfer case on this once already, but that was 20,000 miles ago. So we're gonna go ahead and do it again because these things are made out of glass. If you don't service them regularly, and then the front diff, which you can't see right now, that's gonna get serviced. And then a regular old oil service as well. I was noticing, this thing's got those silly electric parking brakes, just like the 535. So not looking forward to doing the brakes on this either. The car has been inside cooling down just while I get my wits about me and get ready to do the work. It does have collapsed rear springs on both sides, but he doesn't care, so neither do I. Anyway, yay, maintenance. Yeah, those are definitely ready for replacement. Again, they wore pretty nicely, but oh man, the coil springs. Anyway, next up for the brakes back here is going to be removing the E-plug for the little servo, and then removing the 2 Torx on the back of the motor, setting it aside. Then we can pull the caliper and the caliper carrier off like normal. All right, I gotta say on the F25, that really wasn't too bad. Plug connector was right on the top. I was able to get the T30 in both sides, no problem. Bracket slid right up out of the way. And then I was able to take the actuator right off. So once this is off, the caliper behaves like a normal caliper. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the guide pins, which I think are 13s on both sides. We'll compress it a little bit with a pry bar just to get it wiggled off, and then we'll remove the carrier, which, if memory serves, these are probably 16s. But anyway, we'll get those off. And then also there's this little 6, which, judging by how much force I had to use to get those wheels off, might be a little bit of a doozy. So anyway, we'll start with the good side so you can see what I'm doing, and then I will do the dark side on my own. All right, there's just enough give in the piston to pull this back out. Now we're gonna take our Torx This is actually a triple square, but I don't have the correct size. Come on. Shoot, it's a T45, I think, that we roll in here, but we do have to counterclockwise, I think, the piston all the way back before we can actually retract it. And due to the joys of copywritten music, I gotta voice over this little segment, but you can see we have both the calipers off. After clockwise winding the parking brake all the way in until it bottoms out, we were able to compress the piston back in. I don't even know why I'm showing you a hammer right now, but moving over to the transfer case, you can see that I've got the fill plug loosened using my 14mm customized socket, and the drain plug's right here. Always make sure to open the fill plug first. And then the front differential, the fill plug, is actually kind of hard to see. It's over here by the left side axle. The drain plug, pretty easy. Again, always start with the fill plug first. I'm going to be running Hypoid Liquimoly in the front differential and Redline MT90 in the transfer case. Neither of those are officially specified fluids, but I personally have good luck with them, so that's what I'm going to run. Just look at the fluid that came out of this transfer case. Only 20,000 miles and it's already dark and burnt. Incredible. Alright, so the play appears to be on this vehicle, the F25. Unbolt the rack and move it forward. We have much better access now to the lower mounting bolts for the thermostat, the 210s there, and into the engine block. Those are E10s, I believe. The upper, we may still have to move the sway bar for, I'm not sure. I can't actually see it yet. All right, next up, we have a few more things. So I did remove, let me get the light on for you. There's a T25 screw that goes right down in there. There's another one that goes on the oil cooler right here. Now, we have 3 T30s and I believe 8 total T40s, so 4 on each side. We're gonna zip those out to get this bar off so we can get the fan out, because in BMW's infinite wisdom, you have to take the water pump out through the top on this car. So there is a tab right down there that we're gonna have to push in to allow the shroud to move up. And at the same time, we need to pull the heat exchanger away from the radiator shroud. I take back what I said about all the other ones. This is the worst design for a water pump I have ever seen on a BMW. Now I've got tons of room, but I still have to dislodge the pump. Fantastic. I seldom get defeated by BMWs. Today is one of those days. I've gone through and just done the coolant flange right here, because that's important. And yeah, this thing was basically peanut butter, so always make sure you've got that replaced. The X3, for whatever reason, and I believe it's actually the location and probably size of the air conditioning compressor on this thing, uses a slightly different tilted pump with an external bracket, which I don't have today. So I had to inform the owner of this vehicle of that issue, and I'm like, well, do you want me to throw the original pump back in, or do you want me to order the one with the bracket and do it, when that shows up? So I haven't heard back yet. Just doing a little bit more videoing now, but dude, that was a hit to morale for sure. Why the heck they don't all just use the standard N52 pump, I do not understand. But yeah, man, I mean, don't really have a choice. So we'll see what they say. Worst case, I throw the old pump back in. It's got 100K on it, so I mean, realistically, they probably have some miles left in it. But out the labor for sure to get that in and out. And boy, let me tell you, this was a huge pain. So I just don't know. Hop upstairs, eat a snack, enjoy some sunshine before I go insane. And we'll come back to this when I have an answer. Internet videos are always better with drama, right? We've got drama. All right, the boss said, let's order the other pump and get it done. So that's what we're gonna do. In the meantime, though, I still have one more job that needs to happen, which is the thrust arms. So let's get those zipped off and replaced. And that way, once the new pump shows up in about a day and a half, we'll be able to pretty much just send this thing on its merry way. All right, thrust arms are in, other than tightening them down with some wheel torque. We have to set it down first, obviously, for that. But everything is done except for Pardon me, except for that blasted water pump. So we will get there as soon as possible. And the new pump's in, and we have the bleed procedure going. If you guys forgot what that is, get into the car, ignition on, engine off, temperature all the way up, fan all the way down, foot in the accelerator for 10 seconds. Well, this thing fought unnecessarily hard, but I think we're in good shape. The check engine light was on, but it was for like low engine oil and water pump malfunction. So we have working heat, which is good. Let's turn that back down. Let's take her for a test drive. Well, nothing's blown up. It definitely needs an alignment after the thrust arms. I probably should have told them that, but whatever. Drives all right, frankly. No clunks, bumps. Everything looks okay.